Hello and welcome to another episode, and welcome to the e-rider. This is possibly the cheapest transport around at the moment. I was a little apprehensive at first because this is the first electric bike I've ridden, but this negotiates these tight circles really easily, even on the gravel. Now, let's talk prices. If you want one of these new, you're looking around £1,200. But this one, second hand off eBay, £400, and this one came with a spare battery. Now that's a bargain. Welcome to the coldest and the windiest day of the year so far, and welcome to the e-rider, which we're going to try and demonstrate to you in some fashion. First of all, it's got a 1500 watt brushless DC hub motor. That means there's no need for chains and sprockets or centrifugal clutches. It's that simple, which means repair costs are going to be literally nothing. A nifty feature I like on the e-rider is the added security on the ignition barrel, which should help against any thefts. After this, it operates in the normal way, as you'd expect on any moped. From the rider's perspective, there's nothing different here. However, weirdly, you've got two horns. As an onlooker, you'd be hard-pressed to see any difference between this and an internal combustion moped. It blends in just perfectly, and I am a fan of the matte finish. Also, the standard LED headlight is much better than its halogen equivalent. More standard stuff. The centre stand is extremely easy to use, which is strange because it weighs 80 kilos, but feels much lighter. And the side stand, which is fitted with a kill switch to stop setting off with it in the down position. Getting to the battery is very easy. One turn of the key and lift the seat. Under here, remove the protective trim, detach the Anderson plug and remove using the lifting handle. Total time, 15 seconds. Despite the weight of the battery, which isn't the lightest thing I've ever lifted, it's easily a crate of beer. But if I lived in a flat, I could get this up the stairs, no problem. The pack supplied with the e-rider is a 60 volt 20 amp hour lithium ion battery, which gives a range of about 70 kilometres, which we're a bit dubious about, and we will test that. And a maximum restricted speed of 45 kilometres per hour or 30 miles per hour, so easily good enough for our roads. If you want to, you can plug in here and charge with a supplied lead, or, like us, we take the battery out and we charge at home, or you could charge at your workplace. Home charging is really easy. Simply plug it in using the supplied lead, and the full charge will take between 6 and 8 hours, and will display a red LED. And then when fully charged, the unit switches off and displays a green light. It really is as simple as that. Unfortunately, I don't have a CBT or a full bike licence, and as we're not displaying L plates, I won't be riding it. So I'm going to hand it over to somebody who has. And here's James. I'm going home to get warm. See you later.
Okay, welcome to the e-rider. Now, I'm not too sure how the sound's going to come out. I've got a massive windsock stuck in my helmet and it is very, very windy, so fingers crossed it's going to come out okay. So, let's get it opened up, see what it's like. Actually, that's not too bad. That feels quite comparable to any sort of moped that I've ever ridden. I've ridden quite a few. I mean, I started off on a 50cc moped, which this is probably about the sort of equivalent to. Let's just pull up actually and do a quick 0 to 60. Well, it's not going to do 60, I know that. If I just bring the GoPro down now, so you should be able to see the clocks, the display, and let's go. Oh, that's okay. That's pretty good. And there we go. Yeah, we're up to about 35 there. Now, you'll see that the clocks are actually reading in kilometres an hour, but I know that this isn't kilometres an hour. It's definitely not right. So, in years gone by, people have sort of shied away from buying equipment from China, and I can tell you that the way this feels, it feels completely comparable with any moped that I've ever ridden. The quality is really good, and you've also got to factor in that you've got so many fewer moving parts and serviceable items. Kate's already touched on this when she said about the chain and sprocket or the belt, centrifugal clutches, CDI units, all that sort of business that keeps an internal combustion running on a moped or on a bike is just not there. This is simply a controller, a variable resistor on the throttle, which I'm using here, and a battery and the hub motor, and that's it. There's no actual direct link between an engine as such and the rear wheel. It's just a wire that goes into the hub motor. So I'm just climbing up quite a steep hill here, and I can tell you that this is one of the hills that me and Kate run up, and God, when I run up it, I'm dying. So the fact that the bike's pulling me up here at nearly 25 miles an hour is pretty good. Let's just do a right here. Nobody come in. Lovely. God, it's windy. It's absolutely horrific. This is not the day for testing a bike, and especially not one that weighs nothing. So this is also uphill, although it doesn't seem, from a visual perspective, it doesn't really look like it. It definitely is. We also run up here, and we also die when we're running up here. So, and the bike's got us around to about 30, 34, 35, so excellent. Now, it's also important to remember that the running costs here are going to be absolutely nothing compared to running an internal combustion bike. So to factor in your tax, you've got 0 road tax. You obviously pay tax for an internal combustion bike. You've got to put fuel in it. Now, when I used to ride mopeds, that used to be about £5. I'm not sure what that would be now in terms of today's fuel cost, but I expect that it's a lot more. To fill this, you're looking at about 10p. I don't even think it's 10p. I think it's less than that, if you can utilise a economy 7 tariff. And you can take the battery out, take it into your workplace, and charge it in the workplace. So it really is easy. Also, mopeds are, for some reason, people like to pinch them, and if you can take the battery out, it pretty much renders the bike useless. It literally will just be a heavy weight for somebody to walk off with. They're never going to get it started, and I doubt very much whether anybody's going to be able to figure out exactly what's going on with it. So I'm just coming to the end of this track, and I can tell you that is about a mile from running up it, and it's all uphill, and it's dragged us up there really well, no problems at all. So not bad. I'm really am impressed, because where electric falls down against internal combustion is at higher speeds, and that is considered a higher speed on one of these bikes, but it's just lapped it up. Now, this is a long downhill stretch, so I want to get this opened up as much as I can. So, and it tops out there at 35, 36 miles an hour. But hey, that's pretty good. So if I just look down to my right here, you can see 3 lights: red, amber and green. So the red is the one that makes you go faster, the amber makes you go slightly slower, and the green, which you would think would make you go faster, actually makes you go the slowest speed. So let's just try that. Sadly, when I came to review the footage, I realised that you couldn't actually see any of the controls that I was talking about. So I've overlaid it with this, which will show you the amber, red and green buttons that I was using, and you can also see how it's implementing that to the speed of the bike, and this is pretty much how it works on the roads. I'm not sure why you would have those. Maybe if you got some speed restrictions somewhere, but in all honesty, I just have it on maximum power. That's just the way I like it, and you can just control it with your wrist here. So now this is a big hill. We run up this as well, and we do die. So let's see how it goes up here. Yeah, that's definitely had a bit of a speed impact. I can feel that. But still, we're still over 30. And this is a big steep hill. Fantastic. Oh, it's doing really well. Really well. So impressed. So impressed. That's excellent. And then that's it. Straight back round to 35. I think we've covered over the humpback bridge. I think we've covered about 18 miles so far on this battery, and although the state of charge gauge is analog, it doesn't seem particularly accurate. The way I'm gauging it is that when you come to a stop, that's when you judge it. When you open it up, the gauge does actually sort of shoots down into the red and the amber, and then as soon as you sort of balance off the throttle, it relaxes and it comes back to what I think is its state of charge. So far, it's not really going down, which is good. So maybe it can actually do this. And bear in mind, this bike came with a spare battery. So through these bends, I know I'm only doing 34 miles an hour, but the roads are a little bit moist, and yeah, I'm just going to back off a little bit for this one. But it feels okay. It feels grippy enough. Actually, it feels really grippy. Yeah. It's chewing up the road. It's so good. I just had an impression in my head that I was going to do 6 miles and we were going to have to swap the battery, and that just has not been the case. It's ridden all the way from our house up to our filming location, and now I'm nearly all the way back. So it's doing really well, although it is, guys, a bit bumpy. Little wheels. Oh. And these aren't great roads through this little village that we're driving through at the moment. What I can tell you is the wind is horrific. It's getting colder. It's 4 degrees. Now that doesn't sound particularly cold, but I can tell you with wind at this speed, it's really, really cold. I've got all my motorbike gear on that I used when I did the Twizy trip about a year ago now, and that's warm stuff, and it's coming through that. It is coming through that. I'm just driving through this village here, and I'm just at 33 miles an hour, and it's absolutely brilliant. This is an ideal commuter solution. It's so cheap, it's so easy. If you live in a city, then the speed bump. If you live in a city, then this is just absolutely the way forward. I mean, round London, God, it'd be amazing. Would be amazing. So now this is where it probably isn't so amazing, because this is a 60 mile an hour road, and I mean we're topping out at 35 miles an hour. On the hills a little bit less. But it's okay. It's fast enough. People ride push bikes down here, so if they can ride push bikes down here, I can manage at 35 miles an hour on a moped. Okay, straight across this roundabout here. Lovely. Now this is what it's all about. Back into the town, and then straight down here. 30 mile an hour limit. Beautiful. Speed bumps coming up, look. No problem for me on this. Straight through, lovely. No need to slow down. 30 mile an hour. And again. Oh, that's lovely. You do certainly feel the bumps on the bike. Yeah, definitely. Pull up at these traffic lights here. Now, if I was on a more powerful bike, I would nip to the front, but I'm not going to do that because I don't think I've got enough power to get away from them. So I'm just going to sit in the queue and go with the flow. The state of charge has now dropped a little bit. I'm going to say, just a rough guesstimation because it is analog, I'm going to say it's probably 95%, maybe 90%. But I haven't noticed any drop in performance. And for me, that'll be the indication that I'm getting to that point where I need to swap the batteries. The other thing is, you can just cart the battery around with you. There's space in the back here. They've got a little luggage compartment that you probably drop your helmet in. It's got a D-lock in there as well, and obviously the battery. So if you do run out, you could just do a quick swap. Takes about 10 seconds, as Kate demonstrated, and it's perfect. But also, from driving electric vehicles, there is a noticeable difference between getting in a vehicle with 100% charge to getting in one with a 15% charge. There certainly is on our Model S anyway. You can really notice there's a difference. So that's going to be my cue to get the battery swapped, if I can last that long, because I'm getting colder and colder and colder. So these lights I'm just coming up to now, I'm going to hook a left, and that takes me up a hill, and I think I'm going to be going up a hill into wind. Okay, oh yes, now I can feel a difference there. What, we down to 20, 23, 24 miles an hour? I can feel that. Yeah. So, okay, so maybe the fully charged battery would have got me up here quicker, I don't know. But I can definitely feel a difference in the speed that the bike's pulling me up here. However, I'm 14 stone, it's very, very windy, and it's dragging me up here quicker than I can get up here myself. So it's doing okay.
And my journey continued around Hinckley and the surrounding areas for another 45 minutes before I had to call it a day due to the cold. I was completely blown away that the 1.2 kilowatt hour battery had managed 34 miles and still wasn't fully discharged, and I had another 34 miles sat behind me should I have needed it. This bike is absolutely extraordinary, and at £400 from eBay, it is simply the cheapest EV we have ever tested. So, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and follow us on Twitter @KatePhantom, and we'll see you next week with another episode. Bye for now.